Hey guys, it's Vampire Mike from SegaCDUniverse.com. Today I wanted to talk to you about one of my favorite gaming systems, and I would say probably my favorite handheld machine. I've never been a huge handheld guy, but over the years I have played a bunch of them. I owned a Game Boy Advance at one point. I owned a Game Gear as a child. I don't think I owned an SP. I have a PSP still with a ton of games. I have a Vita, which I really love. I think for the current gen, the Vita is excellent. Oh, hey, Stella. Okay, then. Stella wants to talk to you about her favorite game, Zuzu Hamsters. Right, Belle? Okay, so, one of my favorite handhelds, I would say definitely my favorite handheld, is something I sold a couple of years back because I wasn't getting much play out of it, because I had beaten most of the games that I had wanted. I know, sweetie. I had beaten most of the games that I wanted to, but I always regretted selling it. So I decided to go for a better collection this time. So I do have some stuff on the way, but I did want to show you what I got. The only problem with this one is I rebought, I would say almost all of my collection of what I had in terms of the games, and the system's not in as nice shape as my original one. This one's scratched up. So it's the Geo Pocket Color. The Geo Pocket Color came out to rival the Game Boy Color. It did overlap, I believe, a little bit with the Game Boy Advance. It has two buttons. Let's see here, show you. Two buttons, really nice, and a micro switched joystick. It takes two AA batteries, and I put these two AA batteries in a couple weeks ago when I reordered, maybe a month ago now when I reordered the system. I played one game that I have has a timer on it for over 23 hours, and it has not died yet, the battery. The batteries, I should say, the AA's. So that shows you, I think they last like 30 or 40 hours if I remember correctly. It also has a slot here, it's a little damaged, that you pop open with a coin or a screwdriver, and a lithium battery goes in there. It's just like a watch battery, the CR, is it 2032s I think? I don't remember the name. They go in computers on the motherboard for the BIOS, they go in the Sega Saturn, same battery. It also has a headphone jack in the bottom, a volume switch, and then the DC out if you want to plug it into the wall, the AC adapter. And an external port, which is where you can get a worm light, because sadly the Geo Pocket Color is not backlit. It's also very hard to show on camera. That's why I'm not probably going to show much footage, if any. And there was a regular Geo Pocket, which was black and white, that came out in Japan. I don't believe that went stateside, but it did well enough to where they made a color version, and then all the black and white games work on the color, and they make them, I think they colorize them. But the color games also mostly work on the black and white system, and it makes them black and white. So kind of an interesting thing that they did. This is what the cartridges look like. These little bad boys. Pretty cool looking. It's obviously made by SNK. Near, I think, the end of the span, they were selling them in like GameStops and EBs in like a blister pack bundle with like 6 or 7 games. I think it was like 6 games for like $75. So you can still get these. You can still get these on eBay for about 30 to 40 bucks with games. So this one is Card Fighters Clash. They made 2 versions. They made a Capcom version, which is this one is, and a SNK version. And the cool thing is you can trade cards amongst each other if you have a link cable. You can get certain specialty cards only on the SNK version or only on the Capcom version. Let me just show you a little bit. So the graphics are very old-fashioned. I mean, it looks like Game Boy Color. So, don't know if you can see that very well, but it's like Pokemon kind of. Excellent game, great. They actually redid it and put it on, I believe, the DS as some kind of Card Fighters Clash game. They said it's not nearly as good and it didn't do as well. I don't know if they changed the mechanics. Anyhow, enough about Card Fighters Clash. The system also has a really cool adapter that I'm hoping to get in a couple days. Besides the link cable, which is rare and has gotten expensive to play with other people, they make a wireless link cable, but that's only available in Japan, and most games don't take advantage of it. The other thing is a Dreamcast cable. So I guess because Sega at that point in the Dreamcast life didn't have a handheld, they allowed or did some cross-marketing. There's actually a Sonic game on this. I don't own it yet, but there's a really good Sonic game on the Geo Pocket Color. As I said, it's not backlit, but supposedly the Sonic game is very good. So always make sure you have a lot of light around. Anyhow, the Dreamcast cable hooked up to the top of the extension port on the Neo Geo Pocket Color, plugged into the Dreamcast, and then some of the games with, like, I think it's like SNK vs. Capcom and King of Fighters, some of those games would talk to some of these games, and you'd be able to transfer items, transfer data. It was limited, but it was interesting. Let me just show you a couple of the games that are really popular besides Card Fighters Clash. One of my favorites is really strange. It's called Genbari Neopokun, and it's a Japanese exclusive. It's not in English, obviously. And what it is you're kind of watching over this little alien bug guy living in a one-room apartment, and you can't really interact much with him. It's sort of like Tamagotchi, or like a virtual pet. You can't interact with him too much, but you can make things in the room happen that either scare him, make him happy, whatever. And if he's happy, it seems kind of random, he ends up going into your Neo Geo Pocket Color and making games for you in the game. So it's got like a little interesting thing going on. You can play like mini games like Pong and kind of like old Atari type games, like, you know, Galaga, but in the game. So it's a game within a game. Some of the other famous ones are Dark Arms, which is like a shooting game. It's a sequel to a game called Beast Buster, which I've never played. And it's like a Zelda with guns, kind of. Biomotor Unitron, this has gotten pretty rare now. It's worth about 30 bucks. This is like a Pokemon game, but with robots. So they're trying to kind of cash in on the Pokemon franchise. There's a Puzzle Bobble. There's a Tactics Ogre strategy RPG. It's all in Japanese, so it's kind of difficult for me. Kind of reminds me of Dark Wizard on the Sega CD. Again, I don't have them all. I don't have a ton. There's a couple Metal Slug titles that are very good. This is the second version. This game's great. There's a bunch of fighters, obviously in SNK fashion. Oh, here's Neo Turf Masters. But there's a bunch of fighters like King of Fighters Round 2, Fatal Fury, First Contact. And this is what people claim is the best fighting game on any handheld ever. And I would say up until the Vita right now, I would say that definitely holds up. I still love this game. It's SNK versus Capcom Match of the Millennium. And let me show you a second of that. Give me one moment, pop that in, just so you can see what it looks like. My wife just got home, so I'm not waving at nothing. Be done in 1 minute, babe. So this game actually connects with, I think it's Capcom vs. SNK, either 2000 2001 on the Dreamcast with that cable. And let's see if I can show you a little bit of the screen. You got all these characters, you know, pick from. So I'm going to just show you a tiny bit of what the game looks like. You can do tag mode, or you can do, I believe, single player. So this is pretty much the gist of what it looks like. So it looks like Game Boy Color, but it plays like a Street Fighter game, and it's excellent. It's can't really play it like this, but it's excellent. It's one of the best fighters on any handheld. And then this is one of the also other big titles, which is kind of like a turn-based. It is not kind of. It's a turn-based mech strategy RPG. And if you like, I think, Front Mission, they compare it to that. It's slow. It's very difficult for me actually, but it's good. It's got some anime type qualities to it, and that's Fascinate. So Fascinate is very good. One of the harder titles to find now. And I have a couple more things coming in the mail. I got a couple things on my wish list, a couple fighting games, Sonic. They made an all-girl fighting game called Gals Fighter, which is all the girls from the SNK titles thrown together to beat the crap out of each other. I had that in the past. That was a good game. What else? I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think that's really about it. Sadly, it didn't do great, but it did well enough. And as I said, you can buy them online fairly cheap. I did own at one point one of the rarest games of all time. Was a Evolution on the Dreamcast. Also got re-released on the GameCube. You might know it. It was like a kind of anime cutesy-ish beginner's RPG. It's supposedly very simplistic. Anyhow, they remade it on the Neo Geo Pocket Color. It was not released in the US. It was one of the final games to be released in, I believe, UK and in Japan. In Japan, it's easy to get. It's like $5 to $10. But it's all in Japanese. It's also a complete translation or full version of the original Dreamcast title, but just no cutscenes, you know. It's more like still pictures. But people were impressed at how much they crammed in. Anyhow, the UK version goes for about 200 bucks. to $300. For some reason, I found a copy online one day for $12.99. So I ordered it really quickly. At this point, I didn't have the Neo Geo Pocket Color. I'd sold it, so I didn't keep it. And I ended up selling the game on eBay just to make a little cash. And in the end, I ended up using it to kind of buy this back anyhow, I guess. So that's a really rare title. I don't mind not owning it because I don't know if I really would have played it, but you know, there's a lot of Japanese games you can get on this that are import friendly, especially the fighting titles that are really cheap. Fascinate is expensive, like I said, so you can get the Japanese version. It's probably playable, but it's probably pretty hard. So that's about it. I just wanted to show you guys what it was, what it looks like. Again, it looks kind of simplistic or archaic nowadays, but it really holds up. So I put 22 or 23 hours so far into. Again, I've beaten this twice now. Capcom Card Fighters Clash. I should probably get the SNK version and try that out. So just excellent stuff. It's a great console that really didn't get its time to shine, but people now have been noticing in the past few years. So that was really it. I'm hoping to get the Dreamcast cable in the mail soon. I'll hook that up and film that and show you how it works with the games on both systems. So thanks guys for watching. It's Vampire Mike from SegaCDUniverse.com. Be good.